Now we'll move to public comment. Those wishing to speak must state their name and address for the record. After they are acknowledged by the board chair, each person will be limited to 2 minutes to make his or her remarks. Speakers will address all comments to the board as a whole and not one individual commissioner. The board may not take action on an item presented during the public comment period unless the item is already on the agenda for action. When appropriate, the board may refer inquiries and items brought up during the public comment period to the county administrator for follow-up. Is there anybody wishing to make public comment?
Good evening, my name is Matt Sennett. I'm at 2519 Stony Creek Drive, here tonight representing myself and other residents regarding the East Side Corridor project. A major road on the east side of Owatonna has been desired since 1993. In 1993, it was noted that the preferred route would need to be altered to provide space for existing neighborhoods, and this route failed because it wasn't safe enough and didn't allow for growth. In 1995, this preferred route was moved out significantly to allow for space for safety mitigations, specifically including berms and distance. This is how a major highway should be planned for and built. Back then, it was 800 foot of space between the road and residents. Today, not only do we not have 800 foot safety net, we're trying to force a highway closer to established homes with children and adults with disabilities than what failed in 1993. In 1993, it failed before environmental studies were even needed because leadership recognized the need to protect its current residents and plans for future ones. It's all about sustainability, but most off it's about safety. Here I've got a picture of kids in my backyard and an adjoining backyard. You can see that black line right there where this proposed highway is going to be. They're playing right up on the black line. This happens just about every weekend in the summer. Of course, they're playing out there in the fall, spring too. Here's another picture showing where these neighborhood backyards are and where this highway is proposed in place of a residential street. That by the way, we have documentation of that was supposed to be a residential street, now it's supposed to be upwards of 55 miles an hour on this highway with these kids playing right there. The current highway proposal has been in the works for well over a year now, and to this date, not a single safety concern has been addressed. In fact, we've been told, quote unquote, we didn't do anything to address this on 26th Street, why would we do anything here? Big difference is 26th Street was built, then the homes were built on 26. The difference here is the homes are already built and this road is being encroached on the residents who never planned for it to be this type of road. 26th Street was built before that even happened. We were told that if it was up to me, this is a county official, if it was up to me there would be no mitigations added. I believe this because there's no way you'd want to build a highway within 30 foot of existing homes. Talking back in the 90s about doing an 800 foot homes. At least some safety and noise mitigation should be addressed up front, but we've seen designs for the road and they contain no mitigations. MnDOT recommends the road at 34th Avenue, which is only 30 seconds down the road, allows for future planning and doesn't landlock the road immediately against residential neighborhoods like you can see here. If they built that 55 mile an hour zone or highway right there at the backyards of all these neighborhoods, it doesn't allow for any development, and we need development out there. We need a road, but it needs to be 30 seconds down further so we can put in a grocery store, a gas station. We have none of that on the east side of Owatonna. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to comment? 2 minutes.
Melissa Zimmerman, 2525 Stony Creek Drive, also East Side Corridor. We knew 30 years ago we needed space around existing residential areas for mitigations. How can we keep ignoring that today? Today, the city has encroached on the right-of-way and there's only 100 foot left. MnDOT is specific in their recommendations. First line of defense is a noise wall. That's going to detract from the beauty of Owatonna and cost millions. Next are berms, higher than sight of line. For both of these, we are talking 20 foot. My deck stands 10 feet tall. We're 6 foot. That leaves you at 16 foot. To get taller than that, you're looking at 20 foot. At the narrowest, a berm would take up 80 foot of space. At the recommended width, 120 foot. Next come trees. That would be lovely. But MnDOT says we need 100 foot of 15 foot mature evergreen trees for noise mitigations. Finally, we have space. Businesses can act as a buffer. MnDOT says houses should be set back 300 foot from a highway. Today, they're less than 30. There simply isn't room to support mitigations and a road. You see, when we were told you need to go figure out your own mitigations, we did. What we learned is the city of Owatonna and Steele County aren't addressing our concerns because they simply don't value the safety of their residents, because we have brought up these suggestions and have been flat out told no. Today, my backyard is 30 decibels when kids are playing, 55 if the neighbor's mowing his lawn. Highway speeds are 85 to 95 decibels. Hearing loss happens at 80. By not addressing our concerns, you are telling us you would prefer to subject your residents to irreversible disabilities than plan ahead. While that may be acceptable for you, my children suffer enough in this world, and that's not okay with me. How do we protect ourselves, our children, the disabled, the vulnerable, and our properties? What we're asking for are basic human needs. The plan is the opposite of that. And why it could have been seen 20, 25, 30 years ago and not today baffles me, and seems like a massive waste of money when we can just look at history. We are for growth and change and absolutely would love to see Owatonna grow east of us, but that will never trump our need for safety. This route was abandoned 19 years ago for good reason. It didn't fit anymore then. The 100-foot outlots behind us were always intended for safety and growth. They never should have been considered for a highway. Use the foresight of our forefathers and plan for this highway correctly, and leave our outlots for the safety measures as they were intended, and all of the experts have already told us. We need to do better than subjecting our residents to hazardous conditions in their own homes in the name of progress, especially when we have the perfect opportunity for progress, safety, and growth just 30 seconds east.
Wrap it up.
The proposal of 19th Avenue as the east side corridor is not acceptable. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak? Okay, thank you for your comments. Correspondence. You have a piece of correspondence in your packet from the softball group for your reading pleasure. And the next thing is the consent agenda. And what are the board's wishes on the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Okay, is there a second to that?
I'll second.
Okay, any comments? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Okay, under general, number 15, we have the action items. The first one on there would be number 16, which is the adoption of resolution setting the preliminary tax levy and budget for 2023.